Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video, I'm going to be doing a review of the Dexter Season 1, Episode 8, Dexter New Blood Season 1, Episode 8 review. That episode took place on Sunday, a couple days ago. The episode is called, the title is called Unfair Game, and it took place on the 25th of December 2021. So essentially, we're picking up where we left off in the last week's episode, which was the seventh one, which was Skin of Her Teeth. So as you know, Dexter was kidnapped by Kurt Caldwell's one of his henchmen, one guy that works for him. This guy was posing as a truck stop driver at his truck stop slash 24-hour diner service called Caldwell Truck Stop Diner. As you can see right here, Dexter's at the place. His son Harrison's working there, and obviously he's trying to get him away from Kurt Caldwell. That didn't obviously work out in Dexter's favor until the end of the episode. He was kidnapped, obviously, in the last episode by one of Kurt Caldwell's, obviously, henchmen. Kurt Caldwell knows that Dexter killed his son, Matt Caldwell, and he confronted him about it while sending this guy with a package, a little envelope, manila folder. It was like a little small one of the spring that was in Matt Caldwell's leg that he got in his body when he was killed. When he had a boat accident a couple years ago, and he killed some people. Because of the accident, he had to get some type of a needle in his back or his leg. I don't remember what exactly a part. It was a spring, obviously, to help put his joints back together, his bones, because they were broken. He found that in the rubble and the ashes where obviously Dexter burned the remains of his son. So he obviously was able to go back to where Dexter burned his son after he was drunk at that bar where Dexter picked him up weeks ago in the previous episode, which I think was previous episodes. I think it was episode 3. Anyways, obviously he found out that Dexter did kill his son, so now he's going to do the same thing to him and kill Harrison. Even though Dexter knows and Matt Caldwell, Kurt Caldwell knows, he didn't like his son very much. He was always bailing him out. His son was always on drugs. He was always drinking. He was a party animal, a degenerate. He was always getting into trouble, and his dad always had to bail him out of jail and obviously any other situations that he was in. Obviously, like he said, Kurt Caldwell said, my son's always going through benders. He gets drunk and does drugs for a couple of days or a week, and I don't hear nothing from him, and then he pops back up right again. It's the same thing over and over again. So that was obviously a thing. So while Dexter was running for his life, being hunted by the guy who obviously was hired by Kurt Caldwell to kill him, Kurt Caldwell was spending time with Harrison, um, uh, drinking alcohol with him, teaching him how to play baseball, eating food with him. But it was obviously all fake. It was a ruse. He was tricking Harrison into getting him comfortable and to act like the father figure that he obviously knows Dexter has not been, which is obviously, but he goes by the name of Jim Lindsay, obviously, because that's who he is to everybody. So that's obviously what's been going on. This is what we saw in this whole episode. We did see the situation with obviously Angela looking into more of Dexter and what he obviously has been doing, especially since she kind of knows now that his name's not obviously Jim Lindsay, it's Dexter. But going back to what happened with Dexter, he got shot by the guy in the leg after he got flown out the window. This is what happened when Dexter woke up after he was realized he was kidnapped again. He grabbed the guy. He put his hands around him, the zip ties that he had on his hands, and he started strangling the guy's mouth, and he left cuts on his mouth pretty good. So while he did that, Dexter and him crashed in the car that he had, a pickup truck, and Dexter flew out the window. And Dexter was trying to run away from him to get away from this guy in the woods. He was able to, but the guy has a long range rifle with a scope on it, obviously infrared. So he shot Dexter through the thigh, and Dexter was bleeding, running through the woods, being hunted by this guy. And obviously it wasn't looking very good for him. Now we get back to obviously Kurt Caldwell being hanging out with Harrison, teaching him how to play baseball and stuff and whatnot, and spending some time with him. But obviously it's to trick him in order to get him to be subdued and obviously comfortable so he can kill him. Meanwhile, Angela is looking into Dexter. Like I said, she goes to look to find the guy who he attacked. I think his name was Jasper, if I'm not mistaken, or it was the drug dealer or the supplier. Either way, he attacked the guy who Dexter beat up and attacked a couple weeks ago, who the drug dealer, who was a drug dealer who sold the fentanyl to the guys in the wrestling team that Harrison was able to get at a party, still an overdose on. He killed the supplier, but the drug dealer, he didn't get to him in time because Dexter didn't. He tried to, but he had to act quickly. Dexter's beat him out at this bar. He tricked him to come outside so he can get drugs off him and sell them to him. Then after he did that, Dexter attacked him and punched him. It was punched him, hitting him. Before then, he stuck a needle in his arm. He was trying to knock him out with ketamine and put him to sleep so he could subdue him, put him in his car, drive him away, and then obviously torture and kill him, obviously for answers, which obviously didn't work out in his favor. So after that happened, Dexter obviously found the guy's supplier who supplied the drugs to the drug dealer and killed him. So Angela went in there and she talked to him, and she said, okay, so what happened? She explained this all happened because the black police officer that works with her, that Dexter knows, he told her Dexter got into a fight with this guy, and we had to bring him into the station. So she went to go look into it, not arrest the drug dealer. She caught him selling drugs to somebody, but rather than arrest him, she was actually more interested to see what he knew about Dexter. So I thought that was kind of funny how the police officer's like, I'll let the drug dealer go and get away with it as long as you tell me what happened. The drug dealer told her that Jim Lindsay, who was Dexter, obviously that's the fake name he goes by in this town of Iron Lake in upstate New York, as he works as a retail/sales associate and cashier at a hunting and sporting rifle and fishing store. They have all that there: hunting rifles, fishing, Bowie knives, everything. Because obviously it's a hunting kind of area too, but you can't obviously attack any of the white deer or any animals who are sacred, specifically on Indian reservation / Native American land. The indigenous people. That's how Kurt Caldwell's son got in trouble, Matt, because he shot that deer, which he did kill. It was a white deer on Indian reservation land around where Dexter lives in the woods, and he obviously got caught, but obviously he died, and obviously because Dexter killed him, and no one knows about that, but they still know he killed the buffalo. Excuse me, they killed the white deer. They were able to prove that, so everybody knows that that's the case. So, anyways, going back to what happened with Angela, she saw that the guy explained that Dexter stuck a needle in his neck. He tried to take me out with something. She took a picture of it, went to the coroner's office, and saw that his friend, who was the supplier of the drugs, his name's Jasper. She said, well, he overdosed on the drugs. Let's see what else would happen. Do you believe someone killed him? He said, no, he got drunk, lazy, sloppy, and he killed himself. That's what the coroner said. And he overdosed, even though we know Dexter actually put the drugs in his mouth and made him overdose to kill himself because he was trying to kill him. But that black police officer was there and outside, and Dexter didn't have enough time to kill him. So he didn't want to make his he want to blow his cover and look messy. So he obviously decided to not do that. He took the easier route or way out. And after Dexter killed him, he escaped through the window. The police officers ran up the stairs with the SWAT team, busted the doors in the house, and obviously found the guy there dead and overdosed on drugs, which was a fentanyl, and I forgot what else he was on. Anyways, he died, so that's what happened. So she saw the body of the drug dealer, the supplier. The drug dealer is still alive, and he hasn't been arrested. But anyways, the supplier's name is Jasper. She saw the needle mark in his neck, and she put 2 and 2 to get 1 and 1 together, or 2 and 2. She went to look at the Bay Harbor butchers, obviously, archives through the situation with that girl named Molly on her podcast, where she talks about other killers and murderers like the Trinity killer and obviously the Bay Harbor butcher killer, who is obviously Dexter. Angela's looking like, okay, she thinks that, well, Dexter's the Bay Harbor butcher and he tried to kill these guys, but she has no way to convince Dexter to obviously blow on her cover. Dexter obviously is not going to tell her anything because he obviously can go to jail, and she does not have any evidence on him at all to put him in jail. Is she going to ask Dexter to help her take down Kurt Caldwell? We don't know. We'll see what happens. Kurt Caldwell is free. He was looking to kidnap her adoptive daughter a couple weeks ago. I don't know if he's going to try to do that and take her and Harrison together and hold them hostage. We'll see what happens with that. I really don't know. Next week's episode, we saw a preview of Dexter going after this guy who's like a 50 to 60-year-old clown. It's looking like when Dexter took Harrison to some type of a party at some type of I guess you can say it's an arcade type of event, or obviously it's not a theme park, but it's looking like it's an in-house obviously type of a event, kind of like Chuck E. Cheese's, but they had clowns there. It's a game obviously business and arcade. I think the clown tried to attack Dexter's son, who is Harrison, and I think Dexter had to push him away and tell him to stop it, and he kind of spared the guy. It's looking like in the next episode, which they showed a preview of, it's the same guy, but he's just really old, and he's still a clown. Dexter finds him, hunts him down, and tries to take him out, and I think Harrison is helping him, because Dexter did tell Harrison about the truth at the end of the episode about his dark passenger a little bit, and the code, but he didn't go into detail. But in the next episode, he tells him everything. He says, you need to know the truth, and you need to know what's going on. You need to understand what's happened. So after Harrison and Kurt Caldwell go batting at the school, the high school, because Kurt had the keys because he used to be the wrestling coach there. He had the keys there still to get in because obviously no one took it from him because he's still a pillar of the community, a very powerful guy, and he has a lot of influence there. And a lot of people are afraid of him, so they went in there. They had fun batting. Harrison got hit in the side in the ribs with baseballs because he couldn't hit a curveball. After that happened, they went to back to his cabin in the woods. I think it was the other one. I think it was the same one, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember. And anyways, because he's got a couple, that's what it looks like. But anyways, Dexter was racing to get there after he took that guy out. Dexter lured the guy into a cabin in the kitchen. He got a knife. He broke through the glass like Jason Voorhees. It was crazy. And Dexter stabbed the guy and knocked him out. He got him down. Then he stabbed him after he told him this was serious business and this is very personal. My son's involved. He killed him. Grabbed his phone, texted Kurt Caldwell, told him that I'm going to be there soon. He pretended to be the guy who obviously was going after him, and Kurt Caldwell believed it. So Dexter was able to sneak around and do that. Get his Jeep, his car, pickup truck, grab his jacket and shirt off the guy who he killed, cover his body up with the plastic wrapping that was in there in the kitchen at this closed down summer camp in the woods. And then he drove there and tried to race in time to stop, obviously, Harrison from getting killed by Kurt Caldwell. Dexter did make it in time. Kurt gave Harrison something to drink. I don't know what he put in it, but he was kind of a little subdued and scared, but he was still kind of not inebriated, but he was still awake, Harrison. So Dexter got there in time. And he chased Kurt Caldwell down in the van, his car, the pickup truck that he stole from the guy who works for him. He almost ran him over, but he didn't. He got away. He ran over his gun. He was scared. He shot Dexter a couple times while he was driving at him, and a couple of bullets went through the glass. Dexter didn't get hit again, even though he was obviously shot in the thigh. He used the blood earlier that he had from his wound to trick the guy to come inside the door at the summer camp so he can lure him in there and kill him. As it got dark at night, Dexter said that the night belongs to me, and I'm going to take you out finally. So he got there, to save Harrison. Dexter did that. Kurt Caldwell got away, and now Dexter told Harrison, I'll tell you the truth about what's going on. We cut to, obviously, the Bay Harbor Butcher sightings and lookings of what happened with the body parts that he displayed out on for the public to see in Miami. That's where Angela's looking at. And now she's like, okay, well, now she believes and she knows for a fact that Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher. And we'll see how that goes on. And it goes down next episode, which is next week, which is season 1, episode 9 of Dexter New Blood, which is this revival series, like I said, which I'm obviously currently talking about. He comes there. Kurt Caldwell comes to Angela's house and her stepdaughters, and he gives her. He says hi to Harrison. I'll be seeing you soon, kid. Harrison's looking very pissed off and mad, and they're both looking at him. Him and Harrison, and obviously Angela's adoptive daughter, excuse me. Obviously, he has no place to come there, and they're enemies now. So him coming unannounced, uninvited is not looking good. It looks like he gave them some type of pastries or donuts or something from his diner. So it's not looking very good. So we'll see what happens in the next week's episode. But it'll be very interesting to see how it all ends. It's gonna be 10 episodes in total. So we'll see how that happens. The whole situation with Kurt Caldwell, is he still going to go after Angela's adoptive daughter and kidnap her? We don't know, but we'll see, obviously. And will Harrison try to save her? And then Dexter obviously has to get involved in Angela because they can't arrest Kurt Caldwell without any more evidence of girls popping up, because he's not going to be attacking or killing any more girls because he's looked at as a primary suspect and they know that he is the guy who has been doing this. So that's basically that has been happening, what's been going on. And that's basically it. The show has been very fun. It's getting much more and more interesting. We'll see what happens with the Angela situation, but Dexter obviously will not admit anything to her as far as the whole Kurt Caldwell situation. He's going to deny him attacking him. Dexter's not going to say anything about that he attacked Kurt. He's not going to admit to him being the Bay Harbor Butcher. He's going to say that Angela's lying. She's making theories, and I haven't done anything wrong. But obviously, she doesn't believe him, but he can obviously deny that because there's no hardcore evidence for her to prove otherwise, so we'll see what happens, obviously, because there's no DNA. All she has is the situations that she's seen, and obviously the word of a drug dealer versus Dexter. Dexter can obviously use that against her, say, this guy's dealing drugs, and you're going to believe him over me. How is that going to look in the community? If you're the police chief, it's going to look bad, obviously. And obviously, them and they're dating each other. She's gonna look bad as the police chief. Oh, you were dating a serial killer the whole time, and everybody in the town's gonna know it because it's a small town. That's gonna look terrible on her, so she can't tell anybody. And obviously, it would it would look bad on her, especially with the Kurt Caldwell situation. It would cause a bunch of anger and obviously confusion in the community, and people would probably call for her to be resigned and also possibly be arrested. But we'll see what happens with that. But the show's been very interesting. It's getting more and more entertaining every week, and I'm going to be glad to see how it ends. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens next week when Dexter, and it's looking like him and Harrison go after this clown that attacked Harrison when he was a little kid. This old guy, he's aged, he's still a clown, but it looks like Dexter still found him somehow. He's going to take him out as a revenge to help Harrison cope with what happened to him in the past, and obviously to show Harrison the code and how to deal with his dark passenger, obviously, and help him embrace his dark, obviously, imagery and thoughts about what he has in his mind, and obviously what he thinks about other people. So Dexter told him it's okay. He says, my stepfather Harry taught me how to do this and taught me the code, and now I'm going to teach it to you. That's essentially what's going on now. So Harrison finally gave Dexter a big, huge hug and embraced him as his father 100% now. And he's going to be honest to him and tell him the truth, so Harrison knows exactly what's going on. So that's what's going to happen and take place. There was a Dexter one. It wasn't a flashback. It was like a dream or a nightmare that Dexter had where he saw Harrison being attacked by those wrestling team guys again. But this time it was at their house, and Harrison grabbed out his pocket knife, switchblade. He cut and stabbed one guy, slit his throat, beat the other guy with the bat, hit one guy with a frying pan, and beat them all up and killed them. And Dexter walked in on it and saw it and looked like he was completely shocked. He was having that dream/nightmare while he was knocked down in the back of that guy's pickup truck, while he was tied up with and bound by his hands and his feet. And when he got up, obviously out of the dream/nightmare he had, and that's when he grabbed the guy by his neck, put the zip ties around his face, choked him with it so he can obviously get away from him. He had made cuts around his mouth like the Joker, so with the zip ties that he had on his hand. And then the guy crashed the car into a light pole, and Dexter flew out the window, and the glass was breaking and flying all around. It was pretty crazy because it was an action scene, which you don't see in Dexter, obviously, really at all. You didn't see in the past. There was a little action, but nothing like this. Obviously, that was really too crazy. But it was still fun and very entertaining. But anyways, that's the end of my video. We'll see what happens next week on Dexter or New Blood. Dexter New Blood when it picks back up, which will be season 1, episode 9. And we'll see what happens here on this article right here on AV Club. It's basically what self-explanatory what happened. On the episode, Dexter races against the clock to save Harrison in a frustrating New Blood. Season 8 titled episode Unfair Game has a ticking clock to count the wasted minutes. That's basically it. And that's the end of my video. Thank you again for reviews. Thank you for watching, and we'll see what happens next week when Dexter is back. It's on Amazon, but it's primarily on Hulu and Showtime. But Showtime's first, we can watch the episode. But if you have Hulu, you can pay $5 to get the extension for Showtime on your account if you have it. And that's basically it. That's the end of my video. Thank you again for watching my review for Dexter New Blood Season 1, Episode 8, which is entitled Unfair Game. Thank you again for watching. That's all I have to say about this. Again, thanks. Goodbye.